In the town of Ballymena, located in Northern Ireland, a significant public disorder erupted, drawing the attention of local media and law enforcement authorities. It all began when a sizable group of people gathered near a residential area following news of an alleged sexual assault that had taken place in the vicinity. This gathering, initially intended as a demonstration to express concern and demand justice, escalated into worrying levels of violence and chaos. Local police reported that during the events, several blunt objects were thrown at officers who were trying to maintain order and ensure the safety of everyone involved. Among the projectiles were stones and other improvised items that protesters hurled in an attempt to repel the police intervention. Tensions quickly rose, and according to official reports, some demonstrators had their faces covered, complicating identification and increasing the sense of danger. Authorities also notified that several nearby properties suffered material damage as a result of the unrest. Broken windows and facade damage were recorded, reflecting the magnitude of the anger and frustration unleashed that night. A police vehicle was not spared from the attacks. Two of its windows were smashed, a clear indication of the crowd's level of aggression. This outbreak of violence is directly linked to the court appearance of two teenagers formerly charged in connection with a serious sexual assault that occurred in the same area, specifically on Clonovan Road. The case, which shocked the community, was investigated by specialized detectives who announced the indictment of these youths for the crime. News of the charges and the impending court appearance prompted many residents to take to the streets, torn between indignation and fear. Footage captured during the incidents shows police confronting the protesters with a firm but restrained attitude, attempting to disperse the crowd to prevent further escalation of violence. Some officers operated undercover to infiltrate the demonstrators and gather evidence to identify those promoting vandalism. At times, clashes intensified with exchanges of insults and threats as the street turned into a chaotic and dangerous scene. The confrontations jeopardized not only the safety of officers, but also that of innocent citizens living in the area or passing through. The presence of individuals with covered faces created an atmosphere of fear and distrust, as their identities were difficult to ascertain and their actions unpredictable. This increased the complexity of the police operation and the need to control the situation without triggering a greater escalation. Over the following hours, police managed to contain the disturbances and restore relative order, though not without several episodes of violence and considerable damage. The impact on the community was immediate. Many expressed concern about safety and social stability, while others condemned the violence, insisting that justice must follow its course through proper legal channels. The episode once again reflected the deep social tension that can arise when serious criminal acts affect neighborhood coexistence and peace. The demonstration, originally intended as a show of solidarity and a call for justice, evolved into an open conflict that exposed vulnerabilities in crisis management and highlighted the need to strengthen mechanisms for dialogue and prevention. In summary, what happened in Ballymena was a mixture of conflicting emotions: sorrow for the alleged victim, anger toward the accused, fear in the face of unleashed violence, and frustration over the general situation. Police and local authorities were compelled to act swiftly and decisively to ensure public safety and prevent the unrest from spreading to other areas. At the same time, civil society demanded clear and fair responses to restore trust and peace in the community. This event highlights the delicate relationship between justice, security, and civic expression, reminding us of the importance of seeking peaceful ways to address conflicts and support those suffering traumatic experiences without succumbing to chaos or violence. Ballymena, on this occasion, faced difficult moments that will stand as a warning to all about the consequences social tensions can bring when not properly managed. Amid an impending winter expected to be especially harsh for millions of pensioners in the United Kingdom, the political controversy surrounding the fuel payment assistance has sparked an intense public debate. The government's recent reversal, after initially deciding to eliminate these vital payments, has triggered a wave of criticism directly targeting the management and sensitivity of those in charge. This controversy not only highlights the economic hardships faced by many elderly citizens, but also exposes deep political divisions and the fragility of government decisions in times of crisis. In this context, the opposition's business secretary did not hesitate to launch a fierce critique, pointing out the human and social consequences of these measures and questioning the government's ability to protect those who need it most. After covering and analyzing the social conflict in Ballymena, the script shifts its focus to a political issue that has sparked significant controversy in the United Kingdom. It centers on the government's decision regarding winter fuel payment assistance, a crucial measure for millions of pensioners who rely on this support to keep their their homes warm during a particularly harsh season. This narrative turn opens the door to sharp criticism from the opposition, reflecting growing dissatisfaction and discontent with current public policies. The opposition spokesperson, Business Secretary Andrew Griffith, launches a direct attack on the current administration, accusing it of making a series of decisions that negatively impact one of society's most vulnerable groups, elderly pensioners. In his statement, Griffith does not hold back in denouncing the government for committing a robbery against pensioners, forcing them to face the winter months under conditions of energy hardship. A social injustice of great magnitude. This official highlights that the initial withdrawal of the fuel payment was a severe blow to many seniors, who saw their ability to afford heating drastically reduced. He also warns that the decision had not only economic but social and health consequences, increasing the risk of extreme poverty and in some cases fatal outcomes due to the intense cold. He emphasizes that public policies cannot and should not endanger the health and well-being of those who have contributed to society throughout their lives. The criticism intensifies as Andrew Griffith recalls that after months of political and social pressure, the government was forced to partially reverse its position, restoring the payments it had previously removed. Far from being seen as a responsible act, this move is interpreted by the opposition spokesperson as an implicit admission that the initial measure was a serious mistake and that the administration is in a state of disorganization and lack of clear direction. He describes the situation as chaotic politics and a government in chaos, where decisions seem reactive rather than planned. Furthermore, Griffith points out that the overall economic management of the executive has been disastrous. He cites recent data indicating rising unemployment and a decrease in the number of registered employed individuals, figures that, according to him, contradict official claims of economic improvement. He criticizes the rise in interest rates and other financial indicators, which further complicate the situation for the majority of the population, making the economic outlook increasingly bleak. In his speech, the business secretary does not limit his criticism to the specific fuel payment decisions, but extends it to the chancellor and the entire cabinet, harshly judging their performance. In his view, the management during the first year in power has been a succession of errors and catastrophic decisions that have eroded trust in the government's ability to administer the country efficiently and fairly. This harsh judgment reflects growing political polarization and the pressure the administration faces from public opinion and opposition parties. The tone of the video emphasizes the idea that pensioners have been the main victims of this political confrontation, caught in a partisan struggle that jeopardizes their quality of life. It is stressed that the restoration of the fuel payment, although welcome, comes too late for many, and that the government's lack of foresight and sensitivity has caused damage that remains difficult to repair. This narrative seeks to raise awareness about the importance of protecting the most vulnerable sectors and maintaining public policies that respond to their real and urgent needs. Finally, the script invites the audience to reflect on the situation presented, encouraging them to share their opinions and thoughts in the comments section, fostering an open and participatory debate. The call to action is reinforced, urging viewers to support the channel by liking the video and subscribing, thereby ensuring the continuity of informative and critical content on current issues that affect British society and beyond. If you enjoyed this video and want to continue receiving updated content, analysis, and debates on important topics impacting our society, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. By doing so, you'll be supporting a space where information is presented clearly, with bold opinions and no filters, so you're always well informed.